Hello, welcome to this slightly delayed vlog. This is week 6. Yeah, slightly delayed this week. There was a plan this week for me to do lots of exercise, including a run on Monday, which I managed to complete, which was 6 kilometers. I was quite impressed with that. But after the run, the plan to do further swimming and running and fitness sessions sort of went out the window basically. Monday I was struck down with a case of flu, which involved temperature issues, coughing, running nose, generally feeling under the weather, and aching. So no, before anyone says it was not man flu, this was a full-blown cold, gone insane, but not quite full flu. So definitely was not man flu. Let me put it like that. So the only exercise I managed to do this week is a 6 kilometer run, and that was on the first day. And to be quite frank, I didn't know what ached because of the illness or whether because of the run. So slightly delayed to the vlog this week by about 2 days. Also, the first day I've actually been clean shaven. Yeah, I kind of did not have the energy to get rid of a face full of Wolverine fur going on. So yeah, not very fun. Not a very fun week. Especially my week off. Has to be the week off as well. I have 1 week off in February. Probably no other time off till later in the year. And I spend it sick. That sums it up, doesn't it? So, one of the questions I had left in a comment by my friend Dave was, he says he's been trying to look to get into board games and what's a good means of transitioning into board games. Well, there's 2 really, I'd say. I know there's quite a few articles on the internet about what's a really good game to sort of step into the world of board games. The one that always comes up time and time again is definitely Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride is, the best way to describe it is kind of like a Monopoly game. Your goal is to complete as many routes, or routes, depending where you are from, on a board. The typical starter map in the starter game is the USA. So you would say have a route going from, say, Seattle, which is in the northwest coast, to New York in the northeast coast. Your idea is to go from point 1 to point 2 with as many trains as possible to gain what's called the longest route, or the shortest route possible to keep as many trains back as possible for later routes. The person with the most points wins the game, and it is a very simplistic game, very easy to get the hang of, and very fun to play with. Probably about the maximum players is about 4. Because you start using double routes, you start then having to play your opponents, you're playing different cards on the table at the same time, and it just becomes a good all-round game of fun and a good laugh, especially when you're trying to draw for certain cards. We've had quite a few fun games of that. One game that the other game, sorry, I wish I, is Tsuro. Tsuro is a very simple game. It is the best way to probably describe Tsuro is a pipe game. People who've played games like Bioshock would know this, whereby you have to sort of put down pipe tiles and reroute the fluid. Except in this case, the pipes are little directional tiles that you and your little boat will flow upon. However, replace the word boat with dragon, because this is normal Tsuro, not Tsuro of the Sea, as I thought. Tsuro, so you let your dragon flow around, and the idea is to avoid everyone else. 2 to 3 players, it's copable for the first few turns as you're starting to put down tiles. If you start to play with 5 or 6 players, then the game becomes very, very much insane. Because the more tiles, the more dragons, the more chance of hitting someone, the more chance of you actually following a route all the way through to complete and utter annihilation or off the board. Again, it's a very fun game, very fast game, very bum, and you can play a game. Some of the other games to actually look out for is something like Zombie Dice, which I do know is quite rare to get hold of these days. It was PAX 2012 when I was there. I picked my copy up the previous year, and everyone was asking me where the hell did I pick up this It's a very simplistic game. It's a game of pure chance. The idea is to get 13 brains, as you're playing zombies. You get brains by rolling 3 dice. There are green, yellow and red, each representing a different level of risk. The green has 2 brains, 1 shotgun, 1 run. The yellow or amber dice has 2 of each, and the red has the reverse of the green, so it's 2 shotguns instead of 2 brains, and it's 1 brain. You get 3 shotguns, you're out, and it's a cumulative total, so you can stop and score at any point in time. And again, another fast-paced game. Another one to probably look at is Flux. I would probably say for anyone who's into science fiction to consider Starflux, as it's got quite a few unique references. A family would probably consider Normal Flux. For someone who's very much into films, maybe the Wizard of Oz film or Monty Python, there are specific editions towards those as well. Flux is a game where the rules are always on the table, but it can get a bit chaotic, and it's perhaps one as you start to get into more games to actually play. There are a number of others behind me, which you'll probably see. Things like Settlers of Catan, which is another one. One that isn't there is Carcassonne, which is another one. But one piece of advice I'd give to anyone that wants to look into getting into board games is to actually, if you have a tablet device or access to something like Steam or any game store, is to actually go into the store and you can pick up the game, either a trial or the actual game, for very cheaply. Board games are quite expensive these days. They generally run somewhere in the region of about, the small ones like Flux will range probably 10 to 15 pounds, up to the larger games such as like Catan, which can be about £40, Ticket to Ride about 35, depending when you look. But try the apps out first. You'll get the hang of the rules, which is always good. If you like the way the game plays on the actual electronic device, look to move up to the full board game, because that's when you know you're ready to make the investment. I did that particularly with Settlers of Catan. It was generally more of a pass and play, and we sort of got the hang of it. But eventually, once we'd figured it out, we said, okay, we'll move to the full game, and the full game takes it to a whole new level. There's a lot more playing the person across you, and a lot more focus on the real thing. So I appreciate I probably talked long enough. I can feel a cough. I'm getting ready to roll up. I'm trying to not cough on camera, so I'm going to be back to my normal schedule of a Wednesday next week. So I have not lost out on the commitment this week of not doing a video. I would like to stipulate that if I fail to do one within 1 week, that is by the end of the week, that's a working week, so it'll be Friday, then there will be some form of punishment to be performed in the next video. That is a promise. That is something that my friend Erin, who does these as well, go watch her videos. She also does, and I think it's quite an effective motivational tool as well. So this video more of a focus on a question rather than fitness, because there's not been a lot of fitness going on this week. I'll probably return to that next week. But as always, ask me questions, leave comments, queries, anything you want, and I will do my best to answer. Thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again in about 5 days' time. Bye!